We are your home for exclusive interviews and behind-the-scenes stories you won't hear anywhere else. This is all about Kentucky tracks, Kentucky drivers, and Kentucky fans. We eat, sleep, and breathe it anyways, so we figured why not make a podcast about it. For 11 years, we've been keeping the bluegrass covered in dirt. Now, we're doing it bigger than ever before. We are Kentucky's Dirt Racing Podcast. Welcome to another edition of Dirt Racing in the Bluegrass Live, presented by Smokehouse Grill and Buffet.
All right, welcome back to Dirt Racing in the Bluegrass Live. Wes Lanham, he's in Campbellsville, Worldwide West, I should say. I'm Josh Chastain. I'm at the real estate office in Richmond. Man, it's good to be back on here. We had a couple unscheduled weeks off. Didn't work out for us. We let's see, what was it? 2 weeks ago, I guess, we blew a motor in hot laps and didn't quite get that one going. You know what that ended up being? Before we move on, I had a cord plugged in backwards. I needed to reverse it, and everything would have been fine. Imagine that. That technical difficulty was on me, Wes. It wasn't on you.
That's the first that it wasn't on me.
Yeah.
Not every other time it's been my fault, but not that one.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It has been. But it is good to be back on here, man. I called this episode What a Night because that's the best way I can think of to describe this past weekend. And what a night it's going to be on this podcast. We've got Jimmy Crabtree on the line. He's going to be coming on here with us in just a few minutes to help us recap the Randy Jones tribute. Working Man 50. I can't think of a better person, to be honest with you, to help us describe what that night meant, what it was like, than him. And so I'm really looking forward to having him on here. He was really close to Randy Jones, and so that's going to be a lot of fun talking to him for sure.
Yeah, I agree, and a cool deal for Jimmy, on that night, pulling double duty, racing in the KDRA Super Stocks and then also in the Open Wheel Modified. So just a special night, and I think it's awesome to have him on the show tonight to recap that awesome night that we had at Rock Castle last Saturday.
Yeah, I'm with you. And so this, I do need to say before we go any further, this is the Bluegrass Restoration and Construction Studio. We really are appreciative of Tony Lowry and everyone over there at Bluegrass Restoration and Construction. They've been really good to us. They do great work, man. They do a lot of really good stuff, and so if you have any construction needs, anything, man. I was in there the other day detailing some vehicles for them actually, and somebody called and they needed a deck. They were coming to do that. I saw they do wallpaper removal. They do it all when it comes to construction. So give them a call and help out our sponsors. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on Dirt Racing and the Bluegrass Live. We hope we're doing them some good because they sure have helped us out a whole lot, and we're very very appreciative of them. This segment is sponsored by Dirtman Diecast, dirtmandiecast.com for any of your diecast needs, late models, all kinds of good stuff on there. You might see him at the racetrack. Be sure to stop by and buy some goodies from him. So that's Dirtman Diecast. You can call the Racetrack Connection hotline. You can't right now because that line's taken up, but I'll let you know once it's empty, and you can call the Racetrack Connection hotline. We'd love to hear from you tonight. If you were at Rockcastle Speedway last weekend or Thunder Mountain, Mudlick, any of those places, let us know about your experience at the racetrack, or we'll talk about anything you want. We're happy to talk about it. Just call the hotline here in a few minutes. But just real quick, I do want to say, man, we're going to have I don't want to talk too much in detail because we're going to get Jimmy on here in just a minute. But I was thinking, man, and I'm almost hesitant to say this. We've had some really good nights at the racetrack, Wes. I mean, I can think no doubt some of my best memories, experiences were at the racetrack. We were at the North-South a few years ago, camped, World last year. So many good experiences at the racetrack. Saturday night might have been the best single night I've ever personally, this is just me, had at a racetrack. It was just that good. It was just awesome. I mean, it really was.
I mean, from start to finish. Just the drive in to the track. Getting there. I had my wife Sherry with me. We, got in, got everything situated, started walking through the pits and talking to everybody, and then you drove 8.5 hours from Myrtle Beach to get there. Just a very special night all the way around. Packed house by the fans, the drivers. I mean, just an absolute awesome night of racing. I agree with you 150%, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, just the way they handled the show, the way they presented things, the way they took time to do the things that they really needed to do for that tribute, beginning to end. Alan Heckworth says I had a great time. Yeah, yeah, man. I tell you what, I did too. It was good seeing you there, buddy. Getting to talk to you for a minute, getting to catch up with you. We had a good time too. Trust me. Just like I said, just overall a great night. But and then not just that, but our coverage, Wes. From the time we get to the racetrack to the time we leave, we're running. I mean, we're scrambling. It's a dead heat. Just doing everything we can do, from the pit walk to the driver interviews to victory lane interviews. So much going on, but I'm telling you, it is so much fun covering local racing here in this area. Like, it is just an absolute blast. I love every second of it.
That's exactly what I was fixing to say. I love every single second of it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Words can't describe it. I mean, just so much fun that we have, and talking to everybody, and making these connections and friendships, and it's just so special to me. I'm just having a blast doing it.
Yeah, and what's really cool about it is we're seeing our podcast grow every week from this. I think meeting new people, doing this coverage, our race coverage gets more. We didn't even set out really to do that. That just sort of happenstance. And it's crazy because we were talking about it this week. We're walking around with an iPhone with a microphone rigged up and hooked into it and doing all this. Imagine, man, what we could do if we actually had some equipment to do this stuff. It's untelling what we could accomplish if we had like a fancy camera or something like that.
Right. And then, just to add, like, we had so much going on Saturday, but then, during intermission, we got to get on the mic there with Caution and go, over the entire facility and talk about the features, and that was awesome too. Just being able to do that.
Yeah, it was. Greg Miller says he says your favorite cameraman. Yeah, no doubt. The one lap, one bush. Is that what?
One lap, one bush.
Yeah, that's what we came up with. Greg was our cameraman. He walked all the way around Rockcastle Speedway backwards, holding a cell phone camera, and never fails. So kudos to him.
I just knew he's going to lose it there coming out of 4, but he didn't.
Yeah, I did too, man. I was waiting on it, but he didn't. Tell us in the comments. See a lot of you commenting there. Thanks for commenting and interacting with us. That's what makes this show fun. Keep it going. Tell us, what's your favorite part about our race coverage that we do, because we want to add to that, keep doing more of it, do more of what you enjoy. We enjoy all of it, of course. The pit walk, just finding random people to talk to. Some people we miss and walk by, and we don't mean to do that. We're just kind of going with the flow, and if we see you, we talk to you. If we don't, we don't, I guess is the best way to describe it. But that's a lot of fun. Let us know what your favorite part of our race coverage is, and we'll try to do more of it. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Well, Wes, let's go ahead, man, and quit wasting time. Let's bring Jimmy Crabtree on the Racetrack Connection hotline with us. Jimmy, Thank you, man. You're live here on Dirt Racing the Bluegrass Live. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to come on here with us.
Oh, thank you, Josh and Wes. It's what an amazing weekend. I mean, could it have been any better Saturday night? Than only thing made it better is if a right angle, or maybe even I won that race. But congratulations to Dennis. He drove a really smart, consistent race.
He
did. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I got chill bumps, as you said. Could it have been any better? Because I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I agree. Loved seeing Dennis win it. Seeing a right angle in victory lane would have just been extra cool. I'll admit that. But you're right, man. I don't know that it could have been any better. It was a great tribute to Randy Jones. I mean, it really was.
Oh yeah, the staff at Rock Castle, Dwayne, Kevin, they put their heart and soul into that race. Dwayne was up at 8 o'clock in the morning watered all day. I guess Kevin was cutting the grass with the diagonal cuts. I don't really know what that's all about.
Yeah.
But it was a great night for a great friend, and you're speechless when you look in the crowd. The whole recognition of his drivers, the guys that bought the cars, that was in the cars, Matthew and Dylan, Robin especially. My heart goes out to her and the boys.
Yeah.
I just really don't know that it could have been any better.
I don't either. You're right. I mean, I kept saying, Wes, all night, and people probably got tired of hearing me say it, but I thought it was so awesome to look up in the stands and in the pits and see that crowd. And I just kept saying, that this is a 5,000 to win super stock race, not a super late model race. And to see that place packed out, I think says a lot about how much people in this area respected Randy Jones and what he meant to people.
Oh, undoubtedly. He was it didn't matter what you drove. It didn't matter if you drove one of his cars. If you had a question, needed a little help, he was there. I mean, it didn't make no difference what you had. He was one of them that was he was like an innovator, watching Bartley Grant do what he does and all these chassis. Dennis Robinson, the R&R cars, man. I got the fortune to drive one this week, and man, I see why they're good. They're really good cars.
Yeah, you did. You get to drive one. You got to drive one of his cars. It's up for sale now. I saw earlier this week.
The rod's out the pan.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
so you really drove it. Is what you're saying?
I gave it all it had.
yeah. Well,
you put on a show in that heat race, for sure.
Oh, that was awesome. Getting to run door to door with Logan Preston. I mean, what could you ask for? Right. I mean, he's right there with the rest of them. He's top 5 for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, he is, no doubt, and there was a lot of good cars there on Saturday night. Man, it was a stacked field. I think I didn't get to see it till afterwards, but I think one of my favorite parts of the night. I wanted to ask you about this specifically. They lined all the right angle race cars up there before the heat races on the front straightaway, and some of you guys got to speak to the crowd, and I thought that was like one of those things. It took time to do it in the program. Man, it was so worth it, and just really cool of them to make the effort at Rockcastle Speedway, that is, to make that effort to let you guys do that.
Well, that's, Dwayne and Kevin, they know that right race meant a lot to a lot of people. Not, you just didn't have to have a right angle car, but just if you knew Randy, his family, his boys, Dylan and Matthew,
mm-hmm.
It was special. And Kevin and Dwayne made that race the best they could possibly do, 100%. Track for surface was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And the grass looked good.
Yeah. It did.
The whole staff from top to bottom, the track crew, the concession, I mean, everybody's just so friendly and nice. And, it's just amazing what they're doing there and the way that they're headed in the sport. And, you know, Randy would be so proud. I'm telling you, I'm guarantee you, he's smiling from ear to ear saying, I hear that. I hear that. You know,
Yeah.
the crowd, it was a very special night for me and a lot of people, not just, Tyler Hayes, Jimmy Robinson, Tim Coffey, Jason, Paul, all these guys, Eddie Stewart. I mean, it wasn't just one, it was the whole field. There was 33 cars there and all deserving to be in that feature 100%. Of course, you can't do that, but
right.
I would.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. Another really cool thing, I took some videos and posted a reel on Facebook, but, I love the fact that the parade lap there at the beginning before the national anthem, and then also with the 4-wide salute, Matthew Jones in that 74 car basically got to lead the field all night. And I thought that was just awesome to see that 74 right angle forever car with Matthew in it being out there. It was an awesome tribute in and of itself.
Oh, for sure. We talked all day. He got there kind of early, and we sitting in the trailer talking. And he told me, he said, I want to race and I don't want to race. And I looked him dead in the eye and said, what would your daddy do if he was here? He said, he race. I said, there you go then.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly right.
And he's learning. That's like his third or fourth race in that car, and maybe his seventh or eighth race total.
Mm-hmm.
So, he hung in there. He battled nutrition and made it to the end.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah, I agree with you. And such a nice kid too. Just a really nice kid. Always smiling every time I see him.
Smiling.
Yeah,
never.
Yeah, it's really an awesome thing, because I know it's hard on him, and I'm sure there was mixed emotions for him that day. But definitely what Randy would have wanted was for him to be in that race car for sure.
Yeah, when I blew the motor in the street stock there, I was walking across the track to go get ready for the mod race, and I was walking across the track. He come around, he just stopped and gave me a high five as I was walking off the racetrack. Just the little things that you're always going to remember.
Yeah,
I saw that, and that was really cool to see, because we were down in the infield, and I thought, how cool is that? You were going up to get back in and get everything ready for your modified race, and he did. He stopped on the track, give you a high five, and kept rolling, and that's just was cool.
It's awesome. I mean, that that's something. Randy. That was Randy's vision. That was his dream, was for the big KDRA race, at Rock Castle. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
My hat's off to Kevin and Dwayne for seeing his vision and what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it. I look for it to be bigger next year. I really do. I think it'll be a bigger race next year. I mean, it's sad. I didn't really look at the race Saturday as a tribute race or a memorial race. I looked at it a way for me to say goodbye.
Yeah.
As a race, you got to look for a closure in the deal, that you can go on to remember a man, but sometimes you don't get that. But, I got that Saturday night.
Yeah. Yeah. In a really good way to do it too. Like you said, exactly what he wanted, the way he wanted it, where he wanted it, all that stuff is really cool. And I'm glad that you guys got that. Yeah, I knew Randy, spoke to him. He would talk to me and tell me how much he appreciated what we were doing. Talk to him a whole lot. I didn't know him personally. I know you were there was a lot of people there very close to him. But I wanted to ask you, I know you were very close to him. What was your all's relationship like? I know you were close, like I said.
Oh, it's like brothers. I mean, you share, we go up and down the road together. I'd say, hey, you want to go racing? Well, I'll meet you at your house, or he would, he would say, "Hey man," I say, "I need to bend some pieces of metal." He said, "Well, come on over."
Yeah.
Doors, it's just one of them. If he needed it, I had it. He could have it. If I needed it, the same way. Prime example, 2014. I'll give you a little short story here.
Yeah.
I blew a motor at Richmond. Went and got Randy's street stock motor, put it in my modified. Went to Willard, and with a 358 motor, wore them out with it. Won the feature that night. Randy, you see, I posted the picture up of him just smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah.
And beat Dan Ebert. Now, everybody knows who Dan Ebert is. He's a really good IMCA racer. I mean, he's really good. And I think he was staying with Jackie Boggs at the time. They was kind of doing some kind of tutorial or whatever it was, and he was trying to learn from Jackie, and and then he went back wherever, west or whatever it was, wherever he races at now.
Yeah.
But that was the type of person Randy was. I mean, he didn't care if he had it; it was yours. It didn't make no difference whether he raced or not. As long as he was racing, he was happy.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I always enjoyed about him the most is, like you said, not even he built his own cars, but it didn't matter if you were driving a super stock and driving one of his cars or not, or you were in a 4-cylinder or mini stock or open wheel or whatever. He was always helpful to and friendly to everybody. And I think that's what people that I've spoke to remember about him the most. And So just a really, really cool deal, and I'm just glad that I was able to be there. Meant a lot to me to just to be there Saturday night.
Oh, you know, he was looking down on us. He was either saying "y'all fools" or "good job, guys."
Yeah, maybe both.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Oh, he was so big on you guys. I know when y'all gonna start this deal up, he talked about it. And I think he was even going to do some type of sponsorship deal or something with y'all.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
But he's I don't know words. I mean, I tell you what I can do. I'm going to share a text with you that he sent me back in October. I'm going to read it word for word what he said.
Okay.
It said, "God has been great to me every day in my life. This journey in front of me has to be made. With God's grace and wonderful family like you, we will celebrate other opportunities to be together doing what we love." Now that was Randy.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Yeah. Thank you for reading that. That's
and we got to do that Saturday. That's what we did Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't about losing. It was about his family.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It was, man. Like I said, thank you for reading that. I think that is perfect example of who Randy was. I told someone before, we were working on putting together a region championship deal that for this year at least didn't end up working out, but Randy was the first one to reach out to us and offer the biggest sponsorship, and he said, I want to do this. Let me know what you need. I want to be a part of it. You all are doing an awesome thing. And even when I'm talking like 2 weeks or maybe even a week. It wasn't no time before he passed. I know he was very sick. Yeah. He messaged me. He said that sponsorship deal's still on. It ain't going anywhere. And I said, man, that's the least of my worries right now. I don't care nothing. I don't care nothing about that. But he wanted to do that. And even after he passed away, his wife Robin reached out to me and said, I know you all had some kind of sponsorship deal agreement. We want to do that. And I told her, I said, there's no. I want to remember Randy. I want right angle forever, everything. But there's no way we're not going to do that. Just bigger. But that's just who he was and who they are. And just so Saturday night was just a perfect send off, I guess you might say, to our friend. Just awesome overall. Yeah, I mean it's. I went up Friday night and stayed all night just to kind of clear my head and process everything.
man. And then people, listen, people up in Rockcastle, they're so friendly. Mike Smith, Chris, and his wife cooked breakfast Saturday morning. I mean, homemade biscuits. I mean, eggs, sausage. I mean, it's just amazing the community itself up in that area. Yeah. How nice the people are up there. I think Dwayne and Kevin and their wives, and they've got the right thing and the right outlook on what they're doing, and I think it's only going to grow. What they're doing. The track. The track it's the most racy track I've ever been on. Period, from top to bottom, and it's all in what you want, how you want your car to run. And Dennis showed it. Dennis went out there and run the whole night, the bottom. While everybody in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard somebody say about Dennis that his experience showed out on Saturday night. When it counted, he knew what to do.
Oh, 100%. He's a veteran. I mean, he's not. I mean, he knows what to do. I mean, he's so smart and so methodical about what he does and how he approaches it. And I don't care if he's in a modified, late model, a street. I don't care what he's in.
Yeah,
he's knows what he wants the car to do. Period, and he does.
Yeah,
well, we interviewed him during our pit walk, and he said I got a tough feat ahead of me as far as to win this feature, but he said if I've got the car set up the way I want it, and if the track does what I think it's going to do, he said we'll be there at the end, and I'd be dang if he wouldn't. I mean, he just drove a heck of a race, and you hit the nail on the head. He's definitely a veteran, and it don't matter what you put him in, he's good, and he's been around the ball game for many years, and he definitely knows what he's doing for sure.
Oh, he's methodical. He's pinpoint methodical. I mean, he just does the right things all the time. It don't never. I mean, even I don't know about his lap times, but I'd say his lap times were really close all 50 laps.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I've said, and I think I've probably said it to you before, Wes, but I've said the same thing about Jimmy Crabtree. I know I've watched you drive a super stock, open wheel. I've watched you drive a late model. I remember when you drove a few years ago now, you drove the late model for JP Motorsports. I remember seeing you win at Richmond in that thing. Mm-hmm. It's always been a lot of fun watching you race over the years too. You're in that same category, buddy. I'll just tell you.
Yeah, I've had great opportunities in my racing career. Just like Dwayne Harris told me come get his car and race it. There's not many people out there that's going to put a man in their car, and of course, every time I qualified, he always tells me the tongue's hanging out on it. Every time I qualify.
yeah. I imagine it is too.
But there's not many people out there that's just going to let you jump in there. And they worked hard for it. Dwayne never had drove this race car.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you.
He didn't make laps in it till about 1:30 in the morning, Sunday morning.
That's what he told us. Yeah. Yeah, he said I'd never even made any laps in that car.
Yeah. He was driving it pretty good too with a wore out rear.
Oh yeah, it was gone.
yeah. So that was a lot of fun, and Kevin's car is a community car. You never know who's going to be in that thing from week to week. So Wes might be in it next week. You just never know.
I think they're going to draw Powerball numbers next week.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Kevin said his car said whoever gets to drive his car, if they had bad luck the weekend before, they just call him up, come get it, and race it the next weekend.
Yeah, it's what he said. Well, Jimmy, thank you, man, for jumping on here with us tonight. We needed to recap that event. And I knew you were the only guy that I wanted to get on here and just sort of recap everything from Saturday night. So it really means a lot to us for you to jump on here.
Thank you guys for doing what y'all do. Thank the fans for coming out supporting that race, and thank the drivers that come to race that race. Because without them, it wouldn't have been nothing. And Randy Randy looked down on us all night. I believe that in my heart, and won an amazing race. I mean, just amazing. I mean, just awesome, really.
Yep. It was, buddy. Well, we'll see you. We'll see you at the racetrack soon. Take care. Keep driving Dwayne's race car hard enough that the tongue's hanging out on it. And we look forward to seeing you, buddy.
All right, thank y'all.
Right.
Y'all
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good night, buddy.
Thank you.
Jimmy Crabtree here on Dirt Racing the Bluegrass Live. A great conversation there. I said this, but I'll say it again, Wes. I said we talked about, all right, we didn't get to have a podcast last week and preview the race. We wanted to recap it. I said we've got to get Jimmy Crabtree on here. He's the only one that I can think of that I'd want to have on this show, and it was great. That text he read, I'll be honest with you, I just about shed a few tears. I held them back. Glad I was able to do that, but that was good, man.
Yeah. Him and Randy was definitely, like brothers. They had that real tight bond of a friendship, and so glad that he was able to come on here and tell some of those stories about trips with Randy up and down the road racing and in the shop working. Just cool to hear those stories.
Yeah, it really was. So another great tribute to him. It's just awesome. We got a lot to get to left here on the show tonight. Before we do, though, I do want to recap a couple other events from this past weekend. We had Thunder Mountain Speedway with the Modified Madness event, 2,000 to win there. Cole Falloway swept the weekend, man. He won there, and then he won at Rock Castle on Saturday night. A great kid. We got to get to know them just a little bit, standing down there in the pits. Just cool to see him get those 2 wins.
Yeah, I know I had never talked to him until his Victory Lane interview. I don't know if you'd ever spoken to him before, but heck, we've watched the kid race everywhere, and it don't matter where he goes. He's competitive. He's a smart race car driver, and just cool to get to talk to him and get to know him a little bit. Talking to him there in the infield after the race was over with. But yeah, he's hot right now. It don't matter where he goes.
Yeah, he won it.
He
won at Florence too. Angie Metter says, yeah, he won at Florence too. And the cool thing about it is, it's just him and a couple people. There were people there standing talking to us. Said, hey, it's just him and those couple people running up and down the roads, and they race everywhere and always competitive.
It's him and he's got 2 crew guys, and like he said in that interview, he said those 2 guys go with me wherever I go. They work their butts off, and those 2 cats are smart on a race car too. They have to be for as good as him to be anywhere he goes, and that says a lot about that little team. But don't count them out; they're good wherever they go.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with you. And like so, they had that modified open wheel modified. It wasn't open wheel. It was Modified Madness at Thunder Mountain on Friday night. A Friday night race that a lot of people have been asking for. Begging somebody do a Friday night. Let's do a Friday night. Would love to see more of those, in the future. I think it would be good. At the same time, also, Wes, I understand why it doesn't happen. It's also it can be a struggle as well. Fans, drivers, all of it. Friday night, people working, traveling, all that stuff. And so, but would love to see more of that with all the race dates and tracks running on Saturdays, and so really appreciate them doing that Friday night deal. Meant a lot to all of us for them to just, like I said, to try that. And then Saturday also another event, Mudlick, Tyler Carpenter, Mudlick Valley Raceway, the Sam Gilbert and Owen Stevens Memorial. They decided within the week to change that date. I saw it was July 3rd, and then I posted that they were having something else, and somebody said, no, they're having this memorial race. And I was like, no, I don't think that. And then I looked, and I was like, hey, buddy, you're right. I think that was Rusty. Was it Rusty Eagle, I think?
Yeah, and I had told you, I said, hey, they've changed that date. I said, they're going to run it on Saturday. No, they haven't. I said, yeah. I said, they have.
Yeah, I thought everybody was seeing it wrong because I think they posted it July 3rd, and then it ended up being June 3rd. So I ended up being wrong on that one, but they had a good turnout for that, a good event there. Like I said, Tyler Carpenter goes 2 for 2. He's one of those guys that he's got a big following of fans, man. There's a lot of Tyler Carpenter fans out there, so I'm sure they were all happy on Saturday night to see him win for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. He found something up there that he likes, and he's definitely looked really good both those nights and picked up the win. So yeah, he definitely likes Mud Lick Valley Raceway.
Yeah, he definitely does. By the way, the Racetrack Connection hotline is open now. You can call the show. It's 859-412-1287. You'll hear some silence on the line until I get to you. Just hang in there. Don't hang up. We'll get to the call. But please call us. Let us know what your experience was like at any of those events this past weekend. Or like I said, we'll talk to you about whatever it is you want to talk about. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back. We've got Live's Top 5 and a bunch of other stuff to get to here before we end the show, so stick with us, and like I said, call that Racetrack Connection hotline. We'd love to talk to you.
Racetrack Connection is a social media app designed specifically for racing. On the app, you can find a track, find a driver, review and print track schedules, and use the chat feature to communicate with other fans and drivers at any event. There's even a map feature where you can locate racetracks all across the U.S., plus many other features, all for free. Download the Racetrack Connection app today. Donnie Kaufman used to say, "It's good enough to make your tongue slap your brains out, honey." That's what we think about the home cooking at Smokehouse Grill and Buffet in Berea. Choose from the delicious options on their home-style buffet and salad bar, or order from the full menu. Not to mention their desserts and some of the best breakfast you'll ever eat. We promise you'll never be disappointed with this racing family-owned business. Visit their friendly staff and grab a bite to eat. Located just off exit 77 in Berea.
Hi there, I'm Alan Feldhouse Jr., head basketball coach at Madison Central High School. Here at MCHS, we have built a winning team. And I'd like to tell you about another local winning team, family-owned and operated Bluegrass Restoration and Construction. They specialize in roofing, general construction, and home maintenance services. Just like on the court, you need a team that will work together to get the job done. And that's exactly what BRC does. Give them a call at 859-353-1133. Road Tribe.
And welcome back into the Bluegrass Restoration and Construction Studios. Wes, that commercial, real quick, I've got to say this because it reminded me of it. Patty and Terry Cheeks owned Smokehouse Grill and Buffet. They're one of our sponsors. They made a post earlier this week. They sold the restaurant, so happy for them in their next phase of life, whatever it is they choose to do. They're racers. They're racing family. They've always supported dirt racing in the Bluegrass from the very beginning. In 2013, they were the first sponsor to come on board and help us with what we were doing. So really appreciate them and what they mean to us, and good luck to them in the future, whatever direction they decide to do. I'm sure Terry will keep racing. I'm not too worried about that. So I think we'll see him around.
Yeah, I would say we'll see him still in the racing scene for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, a couple of hot topics I want to get to. I told you every week on the podcast that's something we want to do is discuss something that everybody's talking about, Wes. If we, I've said before, if we're going to do this show and we're going to talk about what's going on around here, we're going to have to talk about all of it. The biggest thing, as well as I do, for a fact, I've been screaming this for months now, for a long time. Crown Vics. We need a Crown Vic class here in Central Kentucky, and West Lanham, we finally got it. Lake Cumberland Speedway posted today they're starting a Crown Vic class. I'm so excited about that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it's a true stock class according to those rules. It's affordable. It's a good class for somebody that wants to get into it, that don't want to spend a terrible amount of money, that don't know a whole lot about racing, race cars, it's be one of those classes easier to learn, easier learning curve, good for people to get into the sport, cheap. I don't say cheap. Racing ain't cheap, okay, but cheaper. Nothing about racing cheap, but cheaper. And I'm just like I'm so I know most people probably like, what are you even talking about? But I'm excited about Crown Vics coming to Lake Cumberland Speedway, and I hope all of our tracks at them, because I'm telling you, it will take off, and it'll be a great support class, and that's what we need so badly around here.
Yeah, I think I read in there today. It's definitely going to go for 2024, but if they're able to get a quick turnaround and get a pretty good number of cars quickly, you could see a couple races even in the 2023 season there at Lake Cumberland Speedway. And I believe they're going to run the same rules as what Florence Speedway runs. So that's a group of cars that can run either track if they'd like. So
yeah,
I think it's going to go great. You and I talked earlier in the day that's a possibility. We may buy us a Crown Vic and put Worldwide West in it, big number 9 on it, dirt racing in the Bluegrass Live.
I think
that everywhere.
I think there's a definite possibility that we could see a dirt racing in the Bluegrass house car coming soon. We wouldn't race it much, he just every now and then, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, bring it out just to have some fun. But I could definitely see that. But you're gonna have to share the seat, or we're gonna have to have 2 cars. One, we just have to change the seat out, because I'm not gonna let you hog it up. Oh, number 9 is bad luck. Don't do it. Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, you ain't hogging the seat, or we might even have to have 2 cars, Wes, because I think I'd have more fun racing you than I would anybody else. And I think I'd get more enjoyment and excitement out of beating you than I would the whole field. So we might just have to have 2 dirt racing in the Bluegrass house cars.
Yeah. We'd end up wrecking each other because we wouldn't want one to beat the other, so we just have 2 tore up race cars.
yeah, we probably would. I mean, I was kind of thinking about that too. We'd probably put each other into the wall if you could catch me. That is, because I think if it come down to it, I could probably beat you with 3 wheels. So we'll just have to see.
He's awful cocky, ain't he, guys?
Yeah. But yeah, Crown Vics, and I'm telling you, with that, it all comes down to keeping it within the rules. And Brandon Hargrove started that hobby stock class. He's done a good job of keeping that in check. I think he'll do the same with this Crown Vic class. With those kind of classes, that's what it all comes down to. Because we talked about this earlier too, Wes, and if there's one thing I'll tell you about race car drivers, the best ones find the gray areas and will get by with what you allow them to get by with. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. You look at the legends in racing all throughout history, the best ones. If you listen to the Dale Jr. Download, Darrell Waltrip, Petty's, every one of them, they all pushed it to the very edge, and they would get by with what you'd allow them to get by with, and that's how race car drivers are. But if they can keep this class in check, it'll be a really good thing for a lot of years to come. I truly believe that. I mean, I really do. But that's the key to it, when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I agree with you. You look at that hobby stock class, that is one of my favorite classes right now that race at Lake Cumberland Speedway. And what's so good is all those cars are really close. The racing is side by side. They're beating and banging the way racing should be. And those guys have a blast. Yeah. They race hard, they have fun, and they put on a heck of a show for the fans, and that's what it's all about.
Yep. Yeah, they have to leave the dash in it, stock dash, street tires, no performance tires all season. There's only certain sizes that they can run. You have to run the same size on each side of the car. Each area of the car, you got to run the same wheel, same offsets, all that stuff. It's a really good class, and keeping it in check at all these tracks, and it'll be, like I said, it's going to be awesome. I'm more excited about that than I've been about anything else in a long time, and you know that because it's true. I've been preaching Crown Vics for a long time now, and you're probably tired of hearing me talk about it, so you're probably glad it finally happened.
Yeah, you said earlier today we were talking, and you was like, "Oh, I've been wanting this for 2 to 3 months." No, it's probably 6 or 7 months. I mean, you talk. We need Crown Vics in Central Kentucky. We need Crown Vics at some of our tracks. I'm like, just be patient. It'll eventually happen. So, see, I told you right.
Well, you weren't the only one. I've been saying that to every person I came across, and so glad to see it. Glad to see it working out that way. And I was on I'm not gonna lie, I was on Facebook Marketplace today looking at Crown Vic. So we'll see. Second, Wes, we got 2 hot topics. That's the first one. The next one I want to talk a little bit about. It's been a big hot topic. I don't know about your Facebook, but on my Facebook, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about scheduling. I mean, I really have. And I told you, if it's on there and we're seeing it, we're going to talk about it. Scheduling, right? It is tough, man. You look, I posted a picture earlier in the year of the map of our area tracks. And those circles wasn't very big, but the reality is we've got 5 tracks right here on top of each other. Mud Lick's a little bit up on the map, all right, but they're close. We got 5 tracks that are right here on top of each other. I mean, right here in the same area, and everybody's got to run. Everybody's got to be successful. Everybody has to race.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to do their thing, and there's not one philosophy. There's not just one thing that works. Here's the tough thing about scheduling right now. When you got so many tracks in one area, I counted it. Just pulled the calendar up on my phone. Look, we've got May through September of prime racing here in Kentucky. Because April's iffy. You know this is true. It could be 80 degrees or it could be 25 degrees. It's just the way it is. This year is 25 degrees. It wasn't good at all. October is iffy. It could be decent or it could be terrible. It could be snowing by the end of October. So you got May through September to race. That's 21 Saturdays in the year. 21. And when you think about it, that's not a lot.
No.
It's not a lot at all. And you've got, all right, so 21 Saturdays for 5 different tracks right on top of each other. 21 Saturdays. You got this year, you got 15 memorial races on the schedules between those 5 tracks. 15. And you got 21 Saturdays.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is.
And with my math, that leaves 6 weeks of the year without a memorial race. And that ain't much, man. It just ain't.
Right.
And it's tough. It is. Scheduling, I feel for these racetracks when it comes to scheduling and trying to do their best to find dates that work. It's just a really, really tough thing.
It's super hard because you try to make a schedule that works for you and your track, and then you try to also work to make it to work with everybody else, all your surrounding tracks. You got to work. You want to work with those guys, and the way you want it to be set up is, it's a business, but you want everybody to be able to be successful. You don't want to see somebody, struggle. You want everybody in our area to do good, and it's just tough. And you're gonna have overlapping, races, and there's just not enough time in the year you're going to have instances where that's going to happen.
Yep.
But you just got to keep rolling with it.
Here's the way I see it. You're exactly right. You do. You got 21 Saturdays, 15 memorial races, if you're going to try to work. That's hard to do. It's tough. Here's what I would like. Here's the way I see it. This is the way I see it is you got 6 dates, 6 weekends of the year where there's not a memorial race. That's not enough. You're going to have those memorial races. We don't want to see those go away. Right. We want to see those honored. We want to see those supported, all those things. But having all those tracks in one area and having everybody it makes it really impossible when it comes down to it. I know it's tough on all these people. Here's what I would like to see. I'd like to see within those 5 tracks. I don't want to see 2 super late model races on the same night at 2 different tracks, or KDRA super stocks, or open wheels, or whatever class. There's no reason why we can't not have 2 big shows for the same class on the same night. Surely we can get to that point, but not scheduling on the same night. I just feel like that's really going to be hard to not do. But not 2 specials for the same class on the same night, and I think they're doing a pretty good job of that to this point. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, they are, but it's just tough. It is just so tough, and I look at these promoters and owners, and I'm like, you have to about pull your hair out trying to make these schedules, and really wanting to work with everybody, work with your drivers, your fans, other track promoters and owners. And I think they are doing a really good job.
Yeah.
But it is just so hard, and it's something we wanted to talk about and touch base on because it is so hard. But I agree with you. Trying to work on that. Don't run a special in the same class on the same night with 2 tracks that are an hour, 2 hours from each other. That's just going to take all your cars and split them up. So
it's just
I agree with you.
That's not a good scenario for anybody. I don't think anybody's got anything out for anyone when it comes to the racetracks. I mean, I really don't. I've talked to all of them. We want to see them all succeed. We want to see what the best for all of them. We support all of them and love it. And appreciate their support, and I think everybody's doing a good job, and everybody's going to have to do the best they can, keep going with what they're doing, and because everybody's just doing an awesome job. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Racing here in Kentucky and Central Kentucky is in a better place than it's ever been before, and let's just stay on that track because we're headed in the right direction for sure. All right, well, let's go ahead, Wes, real quick. Let's go ahead and get to our lives top 5 here for this evening. Again, these are all based on, we do this for every class. These are all based on results to this point, so it's not our opinion. It's not who we think is the best. It's all based on current results to date for all of our divisions. So starting with the hobby stocks this evening, Live's top 5 has changed up quite a bit. Wes, this right here might be the most competitive class week in, week out that we see anywhere. This list changes. The drivers on the list might stay the same, but man, we're changing it up every week from 1 through 5. Somebody's moving up, somebody's moving down. So just really, really fun to see. But AJ Smith, they're still number 1 on our list. Randy Hacker is up to number 2. He's picked up a couple wins the last 2 weekends, man. He's really had some good runs at Thunder Mountain Speedway. Bo Gilly picked up a couple wins, and David Marlar, of course, most recently last Friday night at not Friday night, but the Friday night before at Ponderosa. And then Craig Stock still on the list there, number 5. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was number 2 last week. He's got a couple wins there at Lake Cumberland, had a good year. But it don't take much to move from 1 to 5 on this hobby stocks list.
Yeah, definitely, as I've said it, that is one of my, if not my favorite class right now. And super competitive, and it don't matter if you have 20 plus cars show up like they did at Lake Cumberland 2 weekends ago. They're all super competitive, and anybody can get the W.
Yeah, no, I'm with you for sure. I mean, it's week in, week out, every event. They're running them, regularly, of course, at Lake Cumberland and then Thunder Mountain as well. So just love that class, man. It's a lot of fun to watch. And those Crown Vics, we're going to be adding them in 2024. They're going to be fun too. Hornets, I'll let you go with that one, Wes.
All right, our lives top 5 in the Hornet division. Our number 1 spot there, Eric Parton, got the big victory at Rock Castle Speedway this past Saturday. just a huge win for him. In the second place, number 2, Raymond Fuson. Third, Chris Meyer. Chris ended up winning at Mud Lick Valley this past Saturday. Number 4 spot, Clint Cox, and number 5, Frankie King Jr. I mean, that's those top 5 right there. Any given weekend, you could be in 5th previous weekend and turn around, and the next weekend you be in that number 1 spot. So that's another one. Those top 5 cars right there, anywhere across the state of Kentucky, they can put it in victory lane.
Yeah. Of course, like you said, Eric Parton won Saturday night. Raymond Fuson won Friday night at Thunder Mountain. He also won at Richmond a couple weeks ago. They were there. So that's 2 drivers that's really been on a tear these last couple weeks, just winning some races, moving up there to 1 and 2 on our list. Very deserving of it. Clint Cox, he's blew a motor a few weeks back at Rockcastle. He ain't been back out, man. He's going to have to get that motor back together because he won every race he was in up to that point, and now he's dropping on our list. I think he's working on a new car, so I'm sure he'll be back out soon enough and try to stay on that list. So, but that's a fun class to watch too. Really enjoy watching those guys. You know, Tyler Kelly driving that right angle race car. He's another one. He hasn't won yet this year, but he's been really close. We were laughing. We talked to his dad. He had a donut on there on Saturday night. Going into the corner and bicycling that thing was fun to watch in and of itself. I mean, it was a lot of fun just watching him drive that thing. So,
yeah, that donut it was tiny.
Yeah, it looked like it wasn't that big around. Yeah. So he said it worked pretty good at Florence, so they wanted to try it there. But it was cracking us up just watching him go around the track with that little thing on there. Super Stocks, Blake Brown stays number 1 on the list, but Wes he blew a motor on Saturday there at Rockcastle. Biggest race of the year, and he was heartbroken about that. Bad luck for him, but he's going to have to get that motor back together and step on it because Dennis Roberson is not very far behind with that major event win there at Rockcastle Speedway. I mean, if Dennis picks up another win before Blake does, he's going to take over the number 1 spot on that list because we heavily favor major event wins. Cool to see Dennis win that and get to interview him there on Saturday night. Randy Jones tribute. One of those guys, like we said earlier, he's drove everything. I've watched him drive late model open wheel super stocks, and he's always been able to drive anything. And he's a veteran, and his veteranness, I guess you could say, showed itself on Saturday night. The way he was driving, he was driving a line that was different than anybody on the track except maybe Logan Preston. He came up through the field pretty good. Glenn Hounshell was another one talking about Saturday night. I kind of got off topic here, but it came from back in the field, had trouble in his heat race and came up through the field. Just a fun race to watch, but Dennis did a really good job coming up through there, winning that race on the bottom when most people were running the middle. Tyler Hayes still in third. Won, the last time Lake Cumberland raced, it'd be Saturday before last. Tyler Hayes picked up another win. Andrew Harmon won another feature event at Mud Lick Valley, so he's there at number 4 on our list. A name that maybe a lot of people didn't recognize before the season. They probably recognize him now because he stayed on our list. He's consistent up there at Mud Lick for sure. And then Jimmy Robinson there at number 5 on our list. Of course, another guy that's always been around, always been fun to watch, and can drive anything. So there's your Super Stock Lives top 5. Go ahead with open wheels.
All right, in our open wheel modified division, Lives top 5, Blake Brown right there. He's holding tight at that number 1 spot. He would have probably picked up a couple more wins this weekend, but actually sent his motor off to Vic to get freshened. So he'll be out of that modified for a little bit while that motor's getting worked on, but Blake's just looked really good in that new Elite chassis. Ben Petrie holding the second spot down. That's the the jockey out of Corbin, Kentucky. I got to say, it's good to see Ben at Rock Castle on Saturday night. That's a place that he's not ran a whole lot of times. First time this season out there, and I think he had something for him. I know Cole was really good, but Ben made strides throughout the night, all night long, and good to see him at Rock Castle. Third, Cole Fallaway, as we've talked a lot about here on the show earlier in the night. The 4 spot, Brian Barber, and then 5th, Billy Green. Cool to see Billy kind of branch out. Usually runs at Florence a whole lot, but seen him the last couple weekends running Lake Cumberland, Ponderosa, and Richmond. So cool to see Billy Green branching out and running some of our other tracks here in the state.
Yeah, and I believe wasn't it? Let's see. I think it was Lake Cumberland. I was trying to remember on those results. Maybe that he won last Saturday. It was some anyway. Lake Cumberland, Ponderosa, one of those. I think Billy picked up a win the last time they ran. So
yeah, I think he won at Lake Cumberland.
Yeah, of course we talked about Cole Fallaway earlier.
Yeah.
Swept the weekend this weekend, so moving up that list and deservingly so. So your late models top 5, brand new at the top of the list. Wes, he hadn't been on till this week, but I knew at some point we were going to see this shake up once we got some racing action going here in Central Kentucky. Josh Rice. The last weekend, Ponderosa and Lake Cumberland race, Josh Rice picked up both wins there. He also won the Finn Watson Memorial at Richmond. So big couple weekends for him, especially last weekend. I know you were happy about that.
Oh, I was happy. I swept the weekend just like he did. Took both of those victories from you on Friday night, Saturday night. So I'll definitely take those 2 wins. But Josh is really rolling right now. He's looking really good. He's got a new Vic Hill motor in his super late model, and he'd been using Jay Dickens for the last couple of years, and he's really looked strong in these first few races with that new motor. Really hoping that he has a good showing starting tomorrow night at Eldora with the Dream.
Yeah, I know he's looking forward to that, and he always runs good up there at Eldora too with that new Vic Hill power plant. He's really been, of course, even before that when Josh Rice showed up, you know, you knew he was going to be a contender. He always is. A lot of fun to be around. We got to talk to him a little bit there at Richmond, I believe, and then also at Ponderosa on Friday night. And good to see him having the success that he is regionally around here. And I'd love to see him go up there to Eldora and put on a show for sure at the Dream this week. So Justin Rice second. On our list, he stays up there. Of course, like I said, he won that special event for the American All-Star Series.
Justin Ratliff, not Justin Rice.
Oh, Justin Ratliff. I do know a Justin Rice. He's from Jackson County. I grew up with Justin Rice. Yeah, Justin Ratliff, the Rattler. Ace Claiborne, Jeff Watson there in 4th. Ace picked up another win on Friday night at Thunder Mountain. So, man, he's good there. He's got that place figured out. He's tough.
Yeah, he's got Thunder Mountain figured out, and Jay Watt looked awfully good at Rock Castle on Saturday, even though he fought some issues throughout the night. But once he got all that lined out, he looked really good.
Yeah, he was. And then Dustin Linville there in 5th. He won the Pro Late Model portion of the Finn Watson Memorial. he's one of those guys, of course, it wouldn't be a surprise at all to see him climb this list by the end of the year. Like you said, based on those results, he got that win there in the Pro Late Model. Had bad luck. He went to Clarksville for that Tuesday night race. Had bad luck. You hate to see it for him. I mean, you really do. Those guys work hard, and Dustin's a good driver, but just terrible luck up there at Clarksville. He really put on a show there in the B main. Started coming toward came toward the front, and then again there in the feature, just bad luck. So, but he's on the list, and I think you're starting to see some names that are familiar show up on these lists as we get later on in the year.
Yeah, would have really liked to saw Dustin get the victory. He raced at Mud Lick this past weekend, and just Tyler Carpenter, just a little bit better. I want to think that might have been the first time Dustin had ever raced up there at Mud Lick, but definitely starting to come around, and he's really, really good in that crate late model. And he's still trying to get that new supercar lined out. I told him a couple of weeks ago, I said, just make an engine swap. I said, put that big motor in your crate car and just kind of see what happens. But looking forward to seeing him race a little bit more throughout the season.
Yep, absolutely, and well, one more, a couple more things here. One, Wes, you're up 3-1. I know you're happy about that, smiling from ear to ear. Of course, 3-1 lead. Last year you beat me. I had to buy you a steak dinner last year. Already, it ain't looking good for me. You picked Josh Rice to sweep the weekend last weekend. I just can't have any luck at all. But this week, Dream Week. Let's go ahead. Normally we do things here in Kentucky, but Crown Jewel race coming up. This kicks off a big stretch for late model racing. Late model fans in the country really kicked off with the race there in Wheatland, but then going on, keeping on with June with the Dirt Late Model Dream. Let's pick the winners for the Dream. Since you're up 3-1. I'm going to just go ahead and give myself the privilege of picking first. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to try to do something a little different. So I'll usually pick somebody that's not necessarily the favorite, but I'm tired of losing, just to be quite honest with you. I'm competitive, can't stand to lose. So I'm going to have to rig this game up if I have to eventually. But I'm going to go with the hottest driver in the country right now. And if that luck changes, he can blame me, Wes. I mean, when it comes down to it. But I'm going to go with RTJ. He's winning everything. Drew Pruill got him a few weeks ago, took that one away from him. But he's tough right now. And I think he carries that into Eldora this week and wins the Dirt Late Model Dream. It's cool to see because he's not with one of the biggest teams, I guess you could say, and not necessarily a name that's been – known for a long time, like some of these guys. But cool to see, and I think he gets it done at Eldora this week.
Well, he is definitely, at this time, the hottest dirt late model driver in the country. As we've touched on it a little bit, we had the Castro Flow Racing Night of America race last Wednesday night. Myself and my wife Sherry, we was fortunate to get to go and enjoy an awesome night of racing there at Florence. And RTJ put it on, little Bobby Pierce. And after he passed him, it was no turning back. He was gone, and I was happy to see that because it was one of them deals. Anybody but Bobby. I didn't want Bobby to win. Sorry, little Bobby, but you've had your time on that top spot on the podium there at Florence too many times, and just glad to see RTJ run good there. So a great pick, and if he don't run good this weekend, it's your fault.
Yeah, it is. He can blame me.
Everybody on our board is looking. They're saying Overton and Davenport. Well, if history would would show itself this weekend. If you didn't pick one of those two drivers, you would be crazy, because those two have been the hottest two drivers to race with the Dream and the World 100 the last couple of years at Eldora. I made this pick earlier earlier in the week, talking with some other buddies from here in Campbellsville, racing buddies, and I'm picking Mikey Marlar to get the win in the 157. That's another driver that's been hot, and he runs good up there at Eldora, and I'm picking him to win the Dream this week.
Yeah, that's a good pick. You know, Mikey's one of our favorites. We talked about, he's nice enough. Yeah, I'll say this. I would pick him. I think that's a good pick just because he came on our podcast, and so I think that's a good pick just for that reason. But and that was really cool. We've talked about that before. Cool to have Mike be willing to come on here and join us. You know, most people, and not just that he joined us, but he was thrilled to be here and was a joy to talk to on the show. Really hope I'll tell you what, I hope if you go up 4-1, I hope you're right. I'd be just as tickled as you are if that happened. He did win the prelim event, or what? No, it wasn't a prelim event. He won the Flow Racing Night in America at Eldora. Didn't he? Am I right about that?
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, got that Eldora monkey off his back. I mean, I could definitely. That's probably a good pick. You might just be right about that and be 4-1 on me, because I didn't think about him winning that Flow race and Not in America. So, yeah, good pick. But we do have a lot of people. Not just, you said Overton, Superman. We've got a lot of HUD, Jimmy Owens, Ace Claiborne's got Pierce, Pierce. He's got it twice on here.
Yeah.
I think he's a Bobby Pierce fan, Wes. What
I
do you
believe
think?
he is.
So,
Boo,
yeah.
Ace, boo.
I'm with you. So, but he could definitely get it done. It'd be fun to watch. Looking forward to watching it on Flow. We won't be able to be up there, but it'll be a lot of fun to watch. And, you know, can't wait for the North, South, and the World. They'll be here soon enough, and we're planning on going to both of those. So.
I sure wish we was up there tonight.
Yeah.
And should be awesome tomorrow night, Friday night, and then the big one, 129,000 to win on Saturday. So Eldora is just a special place.
Yeah, Coffee says that Tyler Erb. Well, Tyler Erb, you know, talk about Marlar being on, excited to be on. Tyler handed it to his tire man. He was on here for like 5 seconds, handed it to his tire man. So, yeah, I'd rather see Marlar win. But I would definitely like to see Mikey get the win, and I know Caution probably put on there, but he did win at Clarksville. He did, yeah.
Heart of America.
Yep.
Series, and went down there and won 10,000 in a stout field of cars on a Tuesday night. So,
yeah,
you can't count Mikey out. He's another one. Wherever he goes, he's always right there in the hunt. Yeah,
he is. You're exactly right. Hey, real quick, while we've got people on here, we're going to preview the weekend really quickly. Racing outlook here. Look forward to what we've got going on here in Central Kentucky. Several big local events coming up this weekend. But Kevin Jones from Rockcastle, he sent me a text. He said, tune in at 11 p.m. to see what lucky person gets to drive the Roof Cat car this week. He's talking about his open wheel modified. So I guess there's going to be an announcement coming up at 11 p.m. That's kind of late, but you know what? I think I'll stay up for it and see who's going to be driving the Roof Cat car this weekend.
Do you think it might be Worldwide West?
I don't know, buddy. Listen, I don't know. If he's ever seen you drive before, I doubt it. I don't know. He's a pretty brave dude, but I don't know if he's that brave. I wouldn't be. I'll just tell you that. But this weekend, we'll start with that coming up at Rockcastle. Since I just got that text from Kevin Jones talking about Rockcastle's. We'll looking forward to see who's going to be driving that car this weekend. Wes, Rookie of the Year.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but at Rockcastle, the kick off the summer event. They're going to have a lot of events, giveaways, a really fun thing for kids coming up on Saturday at Rockcastle Speedway. I saw I think they're giving away popsicles, foot races, bike races, Power Wheels. I'm not sure what all, but they're going to have all kinds of stuff going on there for the kids on Saturday night at Rockcastle Speedway. So go out, support them. Also, Thunder Mountain Speedway. I think I saw. You'll have to help me with this, Wes. It's been a long day. I worked all day. I literally got here to the office to do this podcast like 5 minutes late. So Thunder Mountain.
I think it's 1,600 to win crates, 1,300 to win modifieds, 1,000 to win hobby stocks. All classes I think have a up in the purse. So should be a really good night on the mountain.
And I also I think I saw that they were doing bicycle races for the kids. So good
Should
to see.
A great night.
Yeah, and really good to see racetracks doing things for kids too. Love to see that for both of them. So be a good night up there. Just talked about those hobby stocks, 1,000 to win. That's worth the trip to Corbin. So go out and support them for sure. Mud Lick Valley Raceway's having a sport mod special. They're the only track in our area, in our coverage anyways, that run sport mods. That's a really good class too. I think it's 1,200 to win for them last I checked. So they're at Mud Lick Valley, plus all other classes there as well. So if you're over in that area, I know we've got a lot of viewers over in there. Go check them out. Fun place there. Said it before, I'll say it again. They've done so much work over there, done a great job. Already had some big super late model races, so good to see them having some big payouts for their sport classes as well. So they're at Mud Lick. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Wes, if I'm wrong, it's on you, but I think those are the only 3 events we've got for our tracks coming up this weekend.
Yes, you're correct.
All right, good deal.
Little buddy.
Well, if we're wrong, be mad at Wes. Don't be mad at me, because he verified and confirmed for me. Man, it's been a fun show. We've had a lot of people on here with us. Good to see each and every week. This thing just continues to grow. We love supporting local racing. You know, I think part of what made this past weekend so special, this weekend, 1,000 to win hobby stocks, 5,000 to win super stocks, all these support classes. I love local racing. I love the direction that local racing here in our area is heading. It's just awesome. And really good to see. Thank you for supporting everything we do. We're going to keep doing it. We're gonna try to do it bigger and better, and just keep having fun with it for our race coverage and our podcast here. Everyone, thank you for watching, hanging in there with us. We've been on here for about an hour and 17 minutes now, Wes, and I didn't even have to use the buzzer tonight.
No. And you didn't even have to say, Wes, let's get back on topic.
Yeah. I didn't even have to pull you back in tonight. So it's been a lot of fun. Get out this weekend. Support your local racetrack wherever you decide to head off to. Looking forward to watching the Dream be somewhere on Saturday as well. So you can do both. You can go to the racetrack and watch Flow Racing on your phone if you decide to. It's a good thing about technology these days. It's been a fun show. Thank you all again for watching. We'll see you at the races this weekend.
Thank you, guys.